Welcome back, everyone, to Bro Brack Dragness. We are talking Mas Draga, Season 7, Episode 7. My name is...
Seven have been the episodes. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see, how many people are in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, man. Would have been nice if it was 7 people. My name is Craig, by the way.
I know. My name is Juan.
And this was a cool episode. We're talking about interesting episode, interesting mini challenge. We got some strategies, some game design flaws. I think we're going to talk all about it. How you doing, Juan? How was your week?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been really, really good. It's been a little bit more of a relaxing weekend than say 2 weeks ago for obvious reasons. But this weekend was BravoCon, and while I didn't attend BravoCon, I'm living for all the gossip that I'm getting on upcoming Bravo shows. The Valley Persian style. I've been waiting for the Shaws to return to the screen. If you know, you know. I know we're not talking about those shows, but welcome back, Reza, Gigi, Golness, and Mercedes, MJ. I live for you guys to be back on my screen. I've been waiting for so many years for this to happen. I've been following them on their social media. I said, when is the Holy Trinity gonna get back together? And it happens to be January 8th of next year. We got the trailer, amazing trailer. Check it out if you're into that type of show. And then I was playing Pokemon Go. They did like a Beware kind of themed event for those people that play Pokemon Go. And it was great because Beware is my favorite Pokemon. So I feel like someone gave the execs at Pokemon Go, the heads up that that's my favorite. And so I got a shiny. And then it happened at the same time that Hilary Duff's Mature song was playing. So it is just too much of a coincidence to ignore. I do think Hilary Duff has the power to heal this nation and the world.
That's amazing. You know what? Maybe it will. Maybe that will happen. BravoCon, is that really like a convention where...
Oh, yes.
Where is this a thing? I've never heard of it.
It's in Vegas. Oh my gosh. You have to be part of the elites to go there because the tickets are starting over $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's just like meet and greets and stuff like that?
Meet and greets, but you get the tea from people. Honestly, I don't think I would even attend, because I'm too good for it. But no, it's not that. It's just I get all the gossip by people I already follow. And since I spend half of my time watching drag, Housewives tea, and I don't just watch Housewives on Bravo, but that's the majority thing. Shaw's of Sunset, updates and stuff like that. But it's just it doesn't have... People, I guess, can go and meet them, but it's just you get previews before anyone else that watch those shows. But then because I follow a lot of those people that cover them anyway, it's kind of like, why go when I'm already going to get the coverage of it? And I don't know if I really want to go to... I don't know how I feel about conventions. How do you feel about conventions? I feel like they're like the fast food place and people are just signing up because they need a couple bucks. And I don't know. It doesn't feel that personal.
Yeah, I think conventions are it's like a Costco. You're paying to pay more money. So like Comic-Con, I've always wanted to go as a kid, but you're pretty much just signing up to buy more things at the thing. And with the ticket, you're saying $1,000. That definitely doesn't seem worth it. You're probably paying even more for kind of the premium people that are talking and stuff like that. So I don't know. It doesn't seem really that great, but maybe one of these days we'll go as journalists.
Well, yeah, that's true. Also, I just like the idea of cosplaying, so I would be down for Comic-Con if I get to wear a unique outfit. And that's a form of drag.
That's true. Everything is drag.
True. Yes. Everything. What is it? You're born naked and the rest is drag. RuPaul. Charles the Third. I don't know if that's if he's the third, but anyway, I wanted to add one more thing because this is really, really important. I forgot to ask you though first, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's been rainy, so it's been just a nice lazy weekend. I'm loving it.
The Hilary Duff also ties to the rain because How many of us look at the window and listen to Come Clean? So, which, by the way, she gave us a little bit of a gem in the Mature video. There's a little bit of, there's a butterfly that lands on her hand, which is a nod to her debut album, Metamorphosis. So that was really, really cool.
The layers.
Us true fans know. I was telling my partner and your partner, because I spent the day yesterday with them and our friend, that I really relate to that mature song because I feel like it really, I don't know if you know what it's about. Do you know what it's about?
No.
Okay, so it's packaged into like a really cute popsy song, but this is why I like singer-songwriters like Hilary Duff and Carly Rae Jepsen, is that it sounds face value, it's really easy to listen to, but then you peel some of the layers. It's actually a really sad song. It's like about how older men groom younger women, and one of the compliments is like, oh, you're so mature for your age, and that's supposed to get them, and when you're young and naive and stupid. I felt like in that position several times in my life. Like, I did hear that. Now, granted, I was also looking for older, so I don't know if like that was the case for them, but for me it was. But I kind of understood it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. That's so me. It applies to my life, my early life when I was very young and pure. But
we're hearing a lot of this type of stuff, and my daughter's really into Dance Moms, and just watching Dance Moms, and I don't know what season I'm on. It's like maybe season 3 or 4. I'm getting like more and more sad and upset. It's getting very intense, and the way they treat these poor girls, and it's just the obsession with some of the adults, with some of these children, is like really upsetting to me. So I don't know, man. It's such a bummer. It's so weird, but hey, that's
they definitely got exploited. It's really sad. But I did watch the show all the seasons, so let me tell you, you still have a lot of seasons to go through. And
dude, I don't know if I can make it. I just got to the episode where I think it's a very iconic episode where Abby Lee Miller and I never know any of the moms' names, but they're like pointing at each other, and then the mom, is it Kelly? Pulls her hair and stuff like that, and it's
Kendall's
like,
mom.
And then like you hear the girls like crying in the background, and it's really messed up. It's really bad.
Well, let me just add this. I know we started with La Más Draga and we're going there, but like, as someone that watched Bad Girls Club, watching Dance Moms, I'm like, wow, it's like Bad Girls Club got replaced by Dance Moms.
Yeah.
And it's women now in like their 40s, 50s, like putting their hands on each other. So
it's really bad. Yeah, it's happening. It happens more frequently than I would have thought. I thought Dance Mom was just like everyone jockeying to get their kid to be in a dance or whatever, but it is like they're putting their hands on each other. They're saying like vile things. They're calling each other fat and ugly, and
well, fame does
racist,
vile things. That's why I like Bravo. That's why I'm a little bit I'm torn. It's a double-edged sword because it makes great entertainment for sure. Ethically, I'm not sure if it's great,
yeah.
But I'm a reality TV junkie, so outside of competitions, I will watch almost any reality TV. Oh, and this weekend, I'm caught up. I don't think you've watched this, but the Kim Kardashian All's Fair. Oh my gosh. I think it's getting like a lot of unnecessary hate. It's so campy, and it's like the funniest thing ever. And I mean, I'm now convinced Kim is unable to, project any type of emotion. And it gives a lot of insights to her and Kanye's downfall. Although, to be fair, I think their downfall was a lot of more Kanye than Kim. But she's not a human, and it's so funny to see it play on the show. The writing is really unique, and I think it's like Ryan Murphy from American Horror Story, Glee, Pose, the monster shows on Netflix, but worthy of watching if you ever want to watch something that's like, it's so bad but it's good, because it's really, really something else. It got so many millions of viewers. I'm one of them, and it's mostly because we want to talk about how weird just everything in that show is. It's like, why, but also I can't stop watching. I don't know. My last thing, and we can cut some of these things because I know that there's a lot to cover, and this is what I was prepared to do.
You're good.
I will not forgive us. So first and foremost, Pop Bible, It's Not That Deep by Demi Lovato. Please check it out. If you've not heard this album from beginning to end, Demi Lovato's not like sponsoring us. I wish she would though. She is an incredible artist, incredible singer. She's on tour right now, and yeah, it's her best work, and it's one of the best works in pop music in quite some time. But I will not forgive us for letting it fall from the charts. It's starting to fall from the charts. And I'm like, you guys, she made a great album, and we can't let it fail. So please stream it, buy it, whatever you have to do, inject it into your veins. It is an incredible album. It is really, really, really good. I would never go on a mission, but for Demi Lovato, I will.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, and then I did want to mention a couple things. I know like this is La Más Draga coverage, but it's important because we both celebrate pop culture. Did you see Britney Spears was spending the night over at Kim Kardashian and hanging out with Khloe Kardashian?
I didn't see that, no.
Oh, wow. Well, you should check it out. She's well enough to hang out with Kim Kardashian and Khloe Kardashian. And that really is my barometer for most things, honestly. I'm like, if you are good enough to hang out with a Kardashian, then you're good. I mean, I'm not a medical doctor here, but I don't think she needed a conservatorship for 12 to 13 years. And then, speaking of conservatorships, Wendy Williams was just, they said that she doesn't have dementia. So, surprise there. But of course, it's all like a money scam for a lot of these like guardianships. So it's kind of sad, but I'm a huge Wendy Williams fan. I was just telling my partner yesterday, because I always wake up listening to music videos and music, and we're getting ready to begin our day yesterday. And I'm really into Lindsay Lohan's second album. And I was like, I swear there's like a clip out there of Wendy Williams where she references the song Confessions of a Broken Heart, where she's like, daughter to father, and then Wendy Williams sings it. But so really, really good stuff. I'm very happy that Wendy Williams, I hope that that's like the step forward in her journey and she's able to get out of it, because if you don't need a conservatorship, like, why are you in one? Like, it shouldn't be an easy cash grab for anyone. And then, what was the last thing that we were bringing up?
I was just thinking, it's been kind of a busy week. There was the Ariana Grande getting attacked at, was it somewhere in Singapore or something? And then, did you notice, like, and then, what's the name of the Wicked Witch of the West?
Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah, she like protected her while none of the security. And
yeah, I mean,
there's an extended version of it where she's like, get away, whatever. And then eventually security kind of just like, doesn't even like push him away, just like goes away. And then he almost made it again back to her like seconds later. And
he's a known heckler too, by the way.
What's that?
So he's a known heckler, apparently.
Yeah. I saw a video of him doing the same thing with Katy Perry. My daughter was saying he did the same thing to The Weeknd. Like, this dude,
like, why? He needs to not be allowed in any event. Wrong is wrong. And we can actually tie this to our show of drag queens. It's really important. I had met the Boulay brothers. I did a meet and greet, and I know one of them was a little bit more comfortable. Like, they put their arms around my partner, but the other one, the one that I was next to, didn't. But it's like, I'm not going to force anything that they're not comfortable with. So, you just meet people where they're at. Some people are a little bit more comfortable with it. I've met other drag queens, and you ask like, hey, can I get a hug, type of thing, not just force it. People have boundaries, and at the end of the day, that everyone should have those boundaries respected.
Yeah.
So other things that happen, I feel like some really big things, something about someone getting blown, but
yeah,
there continue.
It really puts. I'm living for those memes, by the way.
And I love the name Donica Lewinsky. I think the updated version is Donica Lewinsky, which I love.
It really makes you think, like, when he said big beautiful Bill,
yeah,
how much of that was like in his brain? Like, it's
or that tweet that he had about Hillary Clinton not being able to satisfy. We now know
it's really interesting. So I can't wait for that. I'm glad that he's leading.
This is why I like Housewives. You get salacious stuff. I love reality TV. I hope I'm not that toxic in my real life, but I think
you are.
Compensate
I think that's where maybe you scratch that itch. I think we all have kind of this more like vile kind of like, what's the word? What's where you want to cause masochist kind of a thing. But I'm starting to develop this theory that I think everything is reality TV, And so like, like, because I think a common thing with, straights against their wives or whatever is like, oh, all you watch is the Kardashians and stuff. Meanwhile, on their, Instagram reels is like a thing that I fell into a rabbit hole was like comedians fighting other comedians and like saying that they're not funny or they're stealing jokes or, blah, blah, blah. And like Joe Rogan's this and, Stavros is this and blah, blah, blah. And the Austin comedy scene is stupid. And it's like, this is just reality TV, guys. Like like sports, what is so-and-so doing in this? Like, oh, he's cheating on his this. Oh, he's out of condition because he has an eating disorder. Like, we're talking reality TV. So everything's reality TV. Politics is reality TV. We're all
that line got blurred a long time ago. Once you get like, never mind. I'm like,
yeah. Let's move on. Let's move. Like, a lot of interesting things happened this week.
But okay, anyway, let's go into the.
What is real is season 7, episode 7.
That is really real.
Mas Draga, and we are talking. We obviously start every time with Johnny Carmona, who was looking incredible. Love this look from him. He explains the theme of the episode, and the theme is Lamas Panzuda, which is a phrase I was never familiar with, and we can talk more about it in the next slide, Juan. He also brings out Esmeralda Hernandez of Beauty Creations, and I forget what she did exactly. I think she just kind of maybe talked more about
her background and her.
It was like a commercial for Beauty Creations, basically.
She did a couple things. She's the CEO of Beauty Creations, which is sponsoring the boudoir this season of La Más Draga. I now know that whatever Beauty Creations is doing, they're doing it better because it looks significantly better than the NYX cosmetic room. The other thing that she did is she gave each queen, or feminos, she gave them a heart, and Connie Cortez is like, Mama's finally got a heart, so that was really cute. So she gave them heart necklaces. So nice. Really, really nice. Didn't have to. She did. I hope that the ones that were eliminated also got their little heart charms, but if not, that would really suck. Like, she was waiting just until like there was a certain amount of them left to give it to them. But I mean, that was really cool. Her story sounds very inspirational. I know that Beauty Creations is semi-known, and which is no shade. Semi-known is actually a really good thing, especially when she's talking about starting in like swap meets, outdoor swap meets and whatnot, to be now able to sponsor the show and get her brand even more out there. Incredible. So I thought it was really cool. She also kind of looks a little bit like the Anastasia creator. Now, how do I know that Anastasia creator looks like is because I watch Real Housewives of Miami, and Stephanie Shojay is personal friends with that CEO, and they kind of have a similar look. So I thought it was kind of funny.
You know what's funny is I forgot to say this up top. Yeah, we do pre-production. I have a bunch of notes of what we're gonna do in the episode, and the first thing I go is, all right, in the intro we're gonna start. Is there anything you want to talk about, Juan? And Juan goes, nah, I'm good. We can just go straight into the episode. We spent 20 minutes talking about.
Well, not all of it is going to make it, Craig.
No, some of it make it. It's all going to make it. It's much better than your Pokemon rant at me, by the way.
No. First and foremost, do you want to revisit that actually? Because I'm like,
no,
Craig. No, Craig. We're going into this already because what we're not going to do is. Remember how you said how Legendas suck and stuff? You are not allowed to get excited about the new regional variant Pokemons because you have been saying some really heinous stuff on the Pokemon brand. Meanwhile, I've been a defender of it. So like the Pikachu, the Moslax, the Professor Tangrowth that are coming, no. You said some really horrible stuff, and until you apologize to me and the Pokemon brand, like, you're not allowed to get excited about any Pokemon project, period.
I don't know, but I think Pokemon's got to step up their game. They
did already.
They're resting on their laurels a little too much. They know what they got. So
once again, Craig, you played 2 minutes of Legends.
2 minutes? So, I played 3.5 hours, dude. You
did not play 3.5 hours.
I swear to God, I did. All right, we're not talking about this. We're moving on. Can you talk about the theme of the episode, Lamas Panzuda?
Sure. So the episode actually was pretty short, actually. It lasted longer than what Craig played Pokemon Legenza. And Panzuda is basically, the way that I knew the phrase was because my mom has referred like I don't want to like start airing people that like she's referred to as that, but I always knew that it was kind of like someone that was carrying a little bit of weight. So someone that's like Panzudo is like heavy set person, and I mean obviously you don't want to call anybody that, you know, we don't fat shame people or body shame people. And so that's how I knew it. I mean she doesn't use it on regular. Let me rewind. It's not like she's calling people left and right that, but I've heard it before. And
It's a turn of phrase, sure.
Yes. And so that being said, I guess there was like an aspect to it that I did not know in the show, which is that it comes from a festival known as the San Cristobal de las Casas. And this is where men, children, women, and everyone just dresses in these big, colorful outfits and wear masks. So that was part of, basically, that was going to be the challenge. Again, I didn't know that festival aspect. I just knew it as kind of like a heavy set person, but it's part of the culture. So that's where it kind
and they are quite creepy and they are quite scary. And I think this was a good episode. I think everyone did a pretty good job on this.
Because they added a horror element, and then since this is the 7th season, we're adding the 7 deadly sins. But there were 9 of them remaining, so that means that
there was a few double ups for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then after the introduction of the theme, we have Alexis Tres XL come out and talk about the mini challenge. The mini challenge starts off with them putting these kind of boxes with the hole cut out with these balls in them, and they have to shake their ass until all the balls fall out. The winner is Kaus, and Kaus has to make 3 groups of people, and these 3 groups of people need to. There's this game where they show a movie and then they dub over it, right?
Okay, I was gonna ask you, what would have been your strategy to get the balls out?
I think you just have to keep adjusting so you want to go up and down, but you also want to go left to right. Because I think the natural thing you want to do is twerk, right? But that's not right. You gotta, with the entropy of the balls that are in the box, you gotta kind of like get them out, especially because you don't really know where they're at. Maybe a back bend. I don't know if that's even allowed in the rules of the game.
I think it was like someone with Nyla, they held the other, like their fellow teammate, like they at an angle. That was strategy, Craig.
I know. We've played this game before, and we will probably play this game again in my very famous Christmas gift card game with my family. So yeah, I don't know. You're gonna have to think of what strategy you'll do.
Clap my cheeks.
Okay. But the mini challenge that was there is it reminded me of the Whose Line Is It Anyway? They would do this thing where they'll show an old clip of a very old show, and then the players, whatever, will have to dub over it, make up voices and stuff for it. So I think that's what it was. Juan, were you familiar with these movies?
I unfortunately no, but I think I have heard my mother reference that it's Minda Linda. I do know the actress on there, Chachita. She was like a pretty well-known kind of comedian actress. But that being said, I'm not going to pretend that I knew them. If you know those movies and have more to say on them, feel free to educate us in the comments. Not that you have to, but we really appreciate any kind of feedback that you guys can give us or any comments related to those movies. I wish I could do you guys a little bit more of a service and give you more context. But
no, in fact, I think it's kind of good that these, and maybe the contestants knew these movies or whatever, but in it's Whose Line Is It Anyway version, they purposely choose things that are not well known at all because it gives more opportunity for like being surprised. Like if it was a movie that we all knew, we could like kind of guide where
some of them didn't know. One of them actually said like, oh, these movies were like way before I was even born, because they were like 70s 80s films. So like some of them were really like I don't know either, but I know there's a lot of like cinema that is really famous. Oh, Bridie, I think she's like, oh, at least I got a cartoon, or I don't think it was Bridie. She corrected the person or something like that, but there was like a cartoon on the picture of the movie, and one of them corrected her, and they're like, it's not a cartoon, it's just the picture of the yeah.
Got it.
So I think that what you're saying is some of them did know, but some of them didn't. So
Yeah.
it just was improvising. You're not trying to recreate the movie. I think it's a really unique take on acting challenges
Yes.
because sometimes the acting challenges are rough in any of these type of shows. Not as rough as the All's Fair Kim Kardashian show created by Ryan Murphy, also executive produced by Kris Jenner. But that's the type of like acting that we get like in Drag Race. That's the type of acting that we've gotten in the past in La Más Draga. It's like no one's professional writers, and then no one has probably taken acting classes, or most haven't.
Sure.
So the result is exactly what you think, like almost like a high school project where you're forced to act against your will.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So they choose winners, one out of each of the 3 groups, and the winners are Kaos, Detox, and Moon. And this is where I'm gonna have a lot of gripes. This is where I'm gonna have a lot of just game design and even strategy gripes with the choices. So as always, they never say what the winner gets or whatever. It's always a surprise. Everything's always a, whatever. So there's 3 boxes presented, and they each choose one of the random boxes, okay? And in the 3 boxes are money, steal immunity, or give a red seal. So the person who gets the money is Kaos. The person who gets steal immunity is Detox, who steals it from Tulsa. And the red seal, this is where it's ridiculous. So, and you have to really follow this, which is where a big gripe of mine in these reality shows is sometimes complicated isn't good. Sometimes
I disagree with that.
they need to know what is going on just a little bit.
Can you make a note? I disagree with Craig's gripes.
So Moon gives the red seal to Kaos. Kaos has in her possession a red seal and a gold seal. So given a red seal, she now has 2 red seals and a gold seal. When you have 2 red seals, you are automatically thrown into La Menos. You are already in the battle for the lip sync for your life or whatever, okay? But then she can elect to use her immunity. And then, in doing so, spoiler, throws it back to
That's
Kaos.
smart. That's actually smart. Because think about it.
It's not smart for Moon
but it's smart on Kaos.
It was a critical failure and could have been disastrous.
You're focusing on the negative, not the positive, because Kaos, on the other hand, that was incredible because she burned her 2 red seals and she threw it on the person that tried to get her out. So beautiful, well played, Kaos. And I love the complicated part, Craig. Let's not pretend that complicated isn't like a bad thing. It is, and like I think Moon was not shown in her best plays or whatever. Like she definitely does not have any strategy, because what in your mind made you think that you were going to be successful with this? Like if you're going to shoot at someone, you gotta not miss, and you gotta remember I would be in like, because I know in these type of shows they send them either to a house or a hotel or whatever, like while they're shooting the show. Mm-hmm. I'd have everybody's names on a notepad, and you just don't want to do it with anybody with a gold seal, because they're gonna turn around and do that, and you just made it really easy.
I guess. I mean, it's complicated. It's weird. I think you have to strike the line of, you don't want it to be too simple. You don't want it to just be, it's a show about going and doing runways, but you also don't want it to be, okay, wait, who has a red seal? What do red seals do? Okay, what if I have 3 red seals? What if I have 1 red seal? Can I steal immunity? Like, there's too many things going on. Survivor had this issue where like season 1 through 4 or 5 were great, but it was very simple. It was just voting people out. Then they introduced immunity idols, which was game changing. And then they introduced a million advantages where it started to get very complicated. Now they're kind of going back to kind of a more simpler, they're putting more caveats on it, but it's complicated and it's hard for people to just like watch a show if you're trying to be entertained. And maybe it's trying to make something for everyone, but I think you need to start putting, and maybe we need to do this on our little PowerPoint that we make. You need to put like a who has what on the screen at all times. So I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah, that would probably help.
Oh, right.
I would say that would help, but I'm not upset about it, because if it's too simple, then it's going to have that criticism. If it's too like complex, yeah, it will confuse people, but it keeps things interesting. is kind of funny. Like for Moon, for this to backfire, again, you just have to be very aware that if it is a strategic game, that you're not going to miss, because it can really blow up in your face like it did for her. And so I think it's a great twist. I think it just, I do share the gripe with you with some of the introductions, like the boxes. I don't think they were even told to begin with what they were.
Yeah,
so
see,
I think it would
I guess
help.
that's my production gripe. I guess it's not the red and the gold seals. I guess that's actually, I can be convinced that that is a good thing to add. I guess people need to know what they're playing for, or like why try, or like when they're like,
Yeah.
all right, make 3 groups. It's like, okay, well, do I get 3 groups of people I like or 3 people that I don't like? You know, like,
Or
nice
and
to
said
see why people choose, given that they know what the outcome is, so I can see what their reasoning is.
right, if you knew that 3 people from separate teams were going to win, then maybe you can strategize with your friends, so that way
Right.
you can have more chances to getting something that you are wanting to get. So I don't generally have a lot of gripes with production. I have my small little things, but Carlo and Bruno, you're doing a great
Coward.
job. Keep it up, babies.
You're a coward.
No, I'm not. I think my fathers, and it's both of them, are doing a great job. But just things for your guys' consideration. Not that you guys need to ask two random.
Yeah, I guess
people
my
from-
biggest gripe was the strategy choice of giving. You should have just burned it on somebody else who doesn't have one or something. But
I think you're right, though. He
begging.
probably didn't know. I said earlier he probably did.
Forgot that they had a red seal and a gold seal. And you know, honestly, I forget who did the explanation, but Bridie did a really good job of explaining of like, hey, here's what happened, but he had immunity as well. It's gonna be kind of a bummer, spoiler, for missing that type of person on the show. So let's get into the judges for the week. We of course start with Karime, who is looking incredible from the forehead and eyebrows down. Looks hot and beautiful as hell. Loved her look this week. And you know, we have two, I mean, the 2 looks are the Final Fantasy IX character and the Trudge Bowl. Natalia Sosa is just completely out on her, straight up.
I'm okay with her. Actually, you maybe missed this, but we got a new song. We got a couple new songs. Some of them were repeats from past seasons and all of that, but one of the songs were like, oh my goodness, who's that? Like the vocals were insane, and they were Natalia Sosa's. It was like her music contribution. Whatever that song is, I'm ready for it to land on iTunes like yesterday, because her voice, holy cow, it is insane. The looks, I don't think I would wear Karime's like bangs, but I could see myself wearing her outfit. So I guess we're gonna add this one to the cheap bin, because again, anytime I say something looks nice, Craig thinks it looks cheap.
Unbelievable.
Secondly, Craig just skipped one of the most important looks of all time, Mimikyu by Yari Mejia. It was adorable. It was like Mimikyu done.
Getting that it's Mimikyu. The way it looks, it kind of looks like a Final Fantasy IX VV. That's the way I kept looking at it, but I think you're right. It is Mimikyu.
It was Mimikyu. She had like the cheeks on her tits and her what's it called? The little hat. So it was really, really cool. And the Trenchable, I think that one was, sorry, I had to adjust myself here. The Trenchable was really unique. It was really funny, unexpected, and somehow did relate to the challenge, because Trenchable's kind of heavy set, so she kind of expanded a little bit on the Trenchable's size, and the makeup, everything was just incredible. When Lethal, lands a look, she really does. She does it like no one else. It's so funny, all the attention to detail. You could be watching her without the captions and be like, this is the Trenchable. So
for sure.
Great job, Lethal. And then they had El Boguet, and he is a reggaeton rapper. He's from Mexico. El Bogueto, sorry, I think I said Boguet. El Bogueto, Armando Antonio Toleda Rosas. I don't know too much of his music, but he was charismatic. He's the first male to be a guest judge this season, so that kind of was a little bit unique for the show. He was charming. He was very playful with the judging panel and the queen, so it's always much appreciated when you see on these shows. A very secure man that, you know, doesn't mind being a little bit like just cheeky with everyone, and you could tell he had a good time. So he did fine. So far, no complaints over anyone. Again, with Natalia Sosa, she had been kind of getting a little bit out of line with the judging. I don't know if she was that out of line for me this time around.
Okay.
But I do think sometimes she does land a lot more harsher than I think she should, especially for some over others. So that said, they all had pretty good looks. No real complaints there. Again, like Yari's and Letal's look a lot. I would wear Karime's outfit, just not the bangs.
Just not the bangs. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go into the runway. Calypso. Okay, so because all of these were 7 deadly sins, and I wonder if they were able to choose or whatever, they were all given a 7 deadly sin, and Calypso's was lust. So she comes out, they all come out in the very big Panzuda outfit, and then kind of the reveal, each one had kind of a unique reveal where they come out into their actual drag that they're in.
And there's 7 deadly sin. That's
right. So she comes out in a, I don't know, I just didn't really see this as lust. It happens another person also had lust, but a lot of pregnancy / abortion-y type of looks associated with lust.
You don't lust after, you know, a pregnant woman with the umbilical cord of a fetus.
Well,
if we looked at your computer search, we would not find that on, you know, an alternative search engine that's not Google or.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't even know what. I mean, I always assume lust is like I'm wanting some sort of like something very sexual. So it just seems more.
To be clear, so you wouldn't want, like, this doesn't do anything for you.
This does nothing for me from a lust perspective, no. But it was a good look. I did think it looked pretty good. I'm gonna give it a B. Where are you at on this?
Yeah, so it was confusing as a lust sin. I'm trying to kind of, well, I'm letting out a burp first, but then I'm trying to come up with my thoughts on it. But I think it was more so, it was odd. Like I think we guessed when we were watching this, like, is she doing like gluttony, or every single sin but lust kind of came up to me.
Right.
I mean, like, if I was pregnant, I would have wrath because I'm like, oh, I don't want to keep it. Good thing I can't get pregnant. So, but
trying.
Oh my gosh, I would have gone pregnant so many times back in the day. Once upon a time, not long ago. All right, so that said, it's just a B. It wasn't bad. It was cool. Let me just preface, for most, I like horror. And I like horror kind of looks, so I think that for me, I love the monstrosity of it, but I just don't think the consistency to the sin was as much there. I do love me some Calypso, as I've kind of seen her grow in the competition. I don't know if it was her best though, and so again, I want to see what she brings next week, so I'm gonna give her a B because it wasn't bad. I mean, it looked elaborate. I'm also kind of going off of the Panzuda. Did I like that look? And I did like hers. So
yeah, I wouldn't even say this was a 7. I can't even think of what sin this would be. It was a well executed look, but it wasn't for me.
She got confused. It was pro-choice.
Got it. All right. Next up, we have Tools is Pride, which is kind of a hard one to maybe exhibit. She comes out in kind of this Pan's Labyrinth looking goat thing and has a lot of mirrors on it, which is maybe more like envy. I don't know. Maybe all the 7 deadly sins are a little samey, especially Pride. Back in my religious days, there was a take that all sins are pride. Every single sin is pride.
I would take a lot of pride in doing the sins. I mean, I had a very different take on like sins though than you did. So like, yeah, I'm committing all of them and I'm doing a great job at it.
And I avoided them at all costs. I thought the Panzuda itself was nothing that special. I thought the look itself was kind of cool. The mirrors everywhere, kind of a cool.
But that's what I was gonna say. The mirrors actually do make sense because you really are very vain, and you're constantly looking at yourself and like, ooh, I love looking at myself type of thing. So
I have it as a B. Where are you at?
I'm gonna actually give it an A-. I think it actually made a lot more sense than the previous one, and that's why it gets an A-. And then GOAT, I don't think GOAT doesn't really mean the same thing in Spanish, but like I'm thinking GOAT in English, like greatest of all time. That's the most prideful you can be. Like you hear all these like boys on YouTube, such and such is the GOAT, I'm the GOAT, and all of this and that, and I'm like, that's pride right there. So yeah, the look was very Pan's Labyrinth. It kind of gave a little bit of that little fawn thing that appeared, and it wasn't bad. I liked it. I liked most of it, and I think what I most liked about it for Dulce is that it's not her normal look, and I like when a contestant takes it in a different direction that we haven't seen, because I think that was one of my ongoing gripes with Dulce specifically, but I think she did pretty good.
Nice. All right, and next up we have Connie Cortez. Connie Cortez comes out as Envy. Connie Cortez comes out as Envy. Didn't have necessarily like the big kind of character, but it was like this big cookie monster looking thing, and then revealed into a Darth Maul looking thing with a lot of coins coming out of it. And I think the drag altar boys came out and started grabbing them and stuff. This is not Envy, straight up. This doesn't make any sense. Maybe greed, and maybe this is like a language thing. Like maybe some of these sins mean different things, and maybe that's why lust has that sort of like abortion-y connotation. Maybe there's something in Spanish or culturally that's
not that I know of, but then again, I didn't grow up Catholic, so I'm
right.
not.
And then here, envy, I would never associate coins with envy. That's definitely a greed thing. So unless they put the wrong word or I misremember.
No, it was greed, or what's it called? Envy.
So from not answering the prompt perspective, but it was a good. And like, I never know what to do. It's like, okay, it's not envy, but it is a good look. I'm just gonna give it a C because it balances it out. Where you at?
Because it's Connie Cortez and you just don't like her. But here, let me go ahead and tell you guys the way that she could have. No, seriously, you guys, watch all the episodes and then come back to this one and tell me, do you think Craig likes Connie Cortez? And
I think there are other contestants that have gone that are much better than her.
Okay, name them.
Even look at just her scores.
Name
them. Well, what you did was ridiculous.
Name them.
Not having. Well, be quiet. So let me talk. Jesus.
Name them.
Excel.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But
but like even look at your scores. Your scores are kind of middling. Like maybe.
No, actually, they're pretty good.
And in fact, again, get ready because you're not ready for my data analysis of this stuff. I bet you your average score is probably like B+. So this type of score, while like from a report card perspective maybe looks good, I bet you it is on the lower end of scores objectively.
Okay, well, we'll see. But all I want to say with this is Envy. She should have taken out her beefy dad. And then
that's lust, dude.
No, that could have been lust too, but Envy, because for some of us that don't have dads, we would have wanted to have a dad, especially a supportive one. So yeah, I guess good on you, Connie Cortez, and that is where I have envy. But yeah, to me, it wasn't my favorite look of hers. I liked her so much last week. So I have to keep it real. I don't have a personal vendetta against you. And Connie, again, I'm like, and Connie and your dad, I want to address you both. I think, like I said, you keep it very interesting most weeks. This week was just maybe not the strongest. And maybe it's because Connie Cortez dabbles a lot in like the dark alternative looks of drag. So it's like, how much of a deviation is this from her? Like she should have came out angelic and kind of pulled a reverse Uno, but it's okay. I'll give her a B-.
Unbelievable. All right, B minus.
What's
Yeah.
unbelievable is that you're giving her a C, Craig.
C is fine. C is This is an envy. Like straight up, this is an envy. If it was greed, is greed one of the 7 deadly
It
sins?
sounds like Craig has envy toward Connie Cortez.
Never, dude. I'm not jealous of anyone. Is jealous envy? I don't know. All these sins are the same.
Envy has a bit of jealousy
Sure.
attached to it, so I was like, I know, and it's over the dad, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, brother. All right. Next up, we have Kaus Lascivia, who is also lust and also has a kind of abortion-y, as you can see, kind of a baby by an umbilical cord just laying out. Comes out with this 3-headed purple monster and then comes out in this very kind of like a Venus flytrap front with what was on the back? Like a green monster or whatever. So it was very visceral, very, yucky, gross. I have this as a B just because, again, I still don't know if it really fits the theme of lust, but I guess it involves sex because babies come from sex. So where are you at?
Let me just ask you again. So this does nothing for
From
you?
my perspective, no.
Okay. Just was checking.
Yeah,
I think this really would be a good look of like what happens if Candela Yeye's like fire look from last week goes wrong, because she looks like very torched up, and like, when you don't know how to handle fire well, like Craig was saying, like he was going to try the Candela Yeye fire, all of that, and I'm like, this is when you don't know how to do it. So a little bit of a preview if you try that at home. Lust, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's really a tough one, because if they did tell them to do kind of like more of a monstrous look and kind of dark, how do you make dark, something that is very lustful? Like, I don't know. I think it was kind of hard because there was a lot to the prompt without kind of giving them like a little bit more space. Like, maybe don't make it scary, because like maybe the sins don't have to be necessarily scary. I do think, like, as it relates to like sinning and stuff, some of the people like, or the most beautiful people do the ugliest things, and so it's kind of like predictable, like, oh, it's a sin, it's scary. I wish maybe that part. And I don't know if it's just because that was a choice that the production did. Not a gripe, but just wondering if anybody knows, like, was that intentional? Because I don't know, if they would have had more room to kind of show it, then I think we would have had more. It felt very difficult. Like, how do you merge lust with something spooky? I think some people could do it out there, but I don't know. And
I think lust is maybe the easiest one in a drag. I think if you're gonna pick one of the 7 deadly sins, I think, and you're doing drag, I think you're picking lust, like first pick one.
No, I would pick
just do a sexy devil or something, sexy whatever, and you start helping everything. Like, it's so easy.
Is that what you would do?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would do sloth, and I would just lay on my back.
Okay.
Like on the runway, or I'd be carried everywhere, especially by.
Oh, see, that's good too. That's really good.
But okay, whatever. I think her look was pretty good. I do remember it, and that's always a good thing, especially in the runway where the looks were very dark. So I'm gonna give her a B plus.
B plus. Okay. All right. Awesome. Let's go to the next one. We have Candela Yeye. Looking at my notes real quick. She is Wrath. Wrath's also a pretty good one. I think that would be a pretty easy one to do. Comes out as this polka dotted monster as the Panzuda, and then underneath is a 3-headed predator, very in there's the new Predator movie just came out. Predator looking, a long tongue having beast. The bodysuit, in my opinion, was pretty bad, but everything else about it was pretty good, including the Panzuda. So I'm gonna give this a B. What about you, Juan? What do you think?
I'm really seeing a pattern here. You're like, this person did really bad, but I'm gonna give them a B.
Well, okay, because it hits the theme,
Hmm.
and it was a good execution. I mean, there's gonna be if the bodysuit was good, it probably would have been an A. I thought this look was pretty good. Don't
I thought it
judge
was.
for my grades.
I
give
was.
my
It was
grades
just, it was just
according
an
to
observation.
logic,
It was an.
and I'm consistent. I don't put any bias in them.
That's not true. I mean, Connie Cortez, I don't know what she did to you. She owes you money, but there is something there. Like, let us know in the comments if you guys think there's something there. That said, I thought the look was pretty effective. I did like that her Panzuda looked a little bit more distinct than others. I don't know if I liked her look underneath it as much. I don't know if I would have gone as far as giving her an A. I was gonna give her a B minus regardless, but I thought about for a minute. I'm like, should I shift it to a B too? But no, I think I'm gonna give her a B minus.
Okay. Yeah, kind of nothing to say here. Honestly, maybe a case to even be said that it should be a C. Just,
I almost thought about it, but
I didn't really something to really talk about with this one. It's fine. All right, next.
I do think I'm predicting if we should do that on them, not to be horrible people. I mean, we're decent people, I think, but who we think there's gonna get out. And for me, next episode, Candela Yeye, girl, you're in danger.
I 100% agree with you. I think
I like her, but I'm like,
yeah, we're at the point now where we're getting to the end of the season. Again, just looking at the scores objectively, kind of not seeing a winner here.
Yeah.
Not even a finalist.
But hey, she could always shut us up and do really amazing next week.
As Juan always says, I'd love to be proved wrong. Prove me wrong.
I also say I like to be gagged, but okay.
All right. Well, it's not for me. All right. Next up, we have Nyla Downs as Juan's choice, Sloth. We have this old politician, which I'm guessing is maybe a Mexican president of some sort or something like that. Looking guy comes out with green smoke coming out of his mouth. I think he could be any politician, whatever you want. And underneath is this very visceral lips with two mouths, Little Shop of Horrors kind of monster. Really cool looking, actually. I really enjoyed this one. And the thing that I really enjoyed, which will be the next picture in the next slide, is Toxico is writing legislation, which I think is actual. I think he is writing actual legislation there. And
it'd be great if he wrote legislation here. I mean, it would be in better hands.
I mean, maybe. Here, I'll just go to the picture itself, and he is having. He's an actor. I mean, it's a look for sure. Let me go back.
One of his best looks, actually.
Okay. I think this was probably the best look of the evening. I'm giving it an A.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A too. I really, really like Nyla. I think that this was a very unexpected look, and at the same time, I'm kind of expecting excellence from her, which sucks because she's just done so good, and she's just one of those that is in her own league. One of the things about the look too, with the politician and the sludge coming out of their mouth, do you think our current president that's what came out of his mouth after he blew the previous president? But I'm just kidding. And then I like the look that she went into, and then those little mouths also had smoke coming out. I love that Nyla's always going to have pyrotechnic smoke. There's always going to be some kind of gimmick, and in most places it would be kind of smoke and mirrors, but the whole look was really, really good. So I mean, no complaints.
Nyla will be a finalist and definitely has winner upside. So I'm really excited to see other looks from her. Yeah, I would say Nyla Downs is the Pete Alonso of Más Draga season 7. Would you agree?
Pete Alonso? I don't know who Pete Alonso is.
Alonso is a first baseman for the New York Mets.
Okay, well,
he does a great job every season, goes in, day out. He's a baseball player first and foremost.
What a compliment.
Okay.
Guys,
thank you for not playing crickets. All right.
Well, that's because I don't have them, but.
All right, let's go to the winner of this episode, Detox Alanis, who.
Wait.
Yes.
Quick pause, real quick.
Yes.
Would you so that he's the Nyla Downs?
Oh, that's interesting. I tell Pete Alonso. If I ever see Pete Alonso, I will say, "Hey, bro, you are the Nyla Downs of the MLB, and then go for a fist bump. And I think you would have security escort me off the premises. Yeah. Anywho, Detox, winner of this episode, comes out as Wrath in this devil-looking Panzuda. It's a very cartoony take on Wrath. So, you know, I think you can go one of two ways, and she went this other way, which definitely paid off for her. And then she comes out in a blue dress, a very Dracula Abora look with the mask on. Covered in blood, drinks blood, covers it all over herself. She looks kind of like Anger from Inside Out with the blue flame hair, which is like the thing I was thinking of while watching it. It's like, okay, when you think Wrath, you think fire. When you think fire, you think red. Okay. But the way she took it was, when you think Wrath, you think not just anger, but like anger. And what's hotter than a flame? Like a blue flame, like a truly burning hot thing, which I thought was a very interesting and really great take on it. I have this as an A. I think the judges could have went with this or Nyla, and it's, for me, I guess, a coin flip. So I think they got it right choosing her. And let me just say this about Detox: high highs and low lows. I don't know what the staying power of Detox is. She could leave next week or win the whole season. It's crazy.
Right. So yeah, I think she really gagged me this week. I'm not afraid to say it when I'm wrong and when I'm right. She is very unpredictable, and that's the thing. When she does really good, she does incredible. When she does bad, like I called it out before too. But in this case, she did incredible. I think there's so many references that you could take from it. I didn't even think about like the blue flame that you had said, Craig. But also there's like a little bit of like Marge Simpson because of the blue hair and like that kind of, but like not in a bad way. And then I also thought about Artie, the clown from the movie Terrifier with a mask. So just so many things that it makes you think. And I think that that's the reason why she won, is just something that you just visually very striking and you just remember, and she did it really effectively. And I agree with you, it could have been Nyla, it could have been her, but I think what was really good is that she just came out and surprised in a really good way. I also think that, to what Natalia Sosa has been saying, like, oh, you're always the pretty one, well, she did the opposite of that, and it's like you can't really argue against. Now she's done something entirely different, and you know, she's showing that she is very versatile. So I loved it. I will give her an A. I still am wondering, I'm like, I hope she can lean into the villain part that she loves to play, because she did take out her vial multiple times and stuff like that. I like kind of the idea of it, but I'm like, let's crank it up a little bit more. But I mean, you know, she did good. She was focused, and there's no denying that, you know, she did it incredible. So way to go, way to shut me up specifically, because I have been a critic during a couple past weeks. I mean, I did give her notably a D 3-4 weeks ago. So and I understand that as quickly as they can, you know, do some not so good job, they can turn it around and do the opposite, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah, she has a consistency issue, but this is the type of person you want on your reality TV show competition. She brings a little bit of, you know, dramatics and flair, a little bit of, you know, antagonism, a little bit of positivity. Sometimes does good, sometimes does bad. You know, she does a really good job. So, you know, congrats to her. Definitely a well-deserved win.
Absolutely. There's a lot of, the streets are talking a little bit about her kind of being potentially production's like favorite. I don't know. There's not really a lot of supporting evidence to like really show that she is, because if she was a favorite, then they probably would have not put some of the clips of her where she is sometimes like complaining about like the tip or whatever, like, you know.
Right.
But I think, to her credit, she's authentically herself. She's putting out good moments, bad moments, and every moment in between, but she's not being boring, and you have to commend her for that.
Yeah, thank God for not being boring. All right. Next up, we have our almost loser, in Moon, who was there only by virtue of poor strategic decision It would have been really poetic and funny if she would have went home, but nevertheless, here we are. Moon, we have, let me pull up my notes again. Envy. Envy is her, Panzuda is a big, giant long neck, white and green faces. And then inside is like a bunch of hands and faces and stuff like that with these really funny teeth. This is where Venenito has the red hair, and Moon
She liked it too much.
steals the hair, which straight up, that's Envy. Like that's good job. You did
absolutely.
The prompt. Thank you for doing the prompt. I don't know if the paint on the, I don't know, it just seemed like a little not great. The cheapness of the inside part was
I loved it.
Is not as great as I would have thought. I have it as, I don't even know why I did this. I have it as a C in my notes.
Wow. Oh my god.
I want to give it more, but I don't know why I put C. But that's what I have.
You've given some B's that don't.
I know. I wish I could change it, but I can't change it.
You can change it. Nothing will
immutable.
stop.
It's immutable.
You're such a straight guy. I think I've.
Honestly, you know what it maybe suffered from was she was the second person out. So maybe that's where I'm like, oh, it didn't really. And like, I wish I would have seen how bad everyone else did their interpretation of the sin itself, because this one actually, in retrospect, one of the more accurate depictions of the actual sin itself.
Today, Craig is pride because he's not going to change his grade, and
grade.
And today I'm wrath because I'm angry that he gave it a C, because I actually really liked it. I'm going to give it an A. I thought it was really, really good. I think she's really dumb for the move that she made at the end.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Crazy.
Stupid.
But that's what I wish I could send her for that, because that was the biggest fumble you could ever do to yourself. Like, you did this to yourself. Like, I actually really did like the look. It was actually, my top 3 were Nyla, Detox, and Moon, not in a specific order. I thought, like, what it read to me, what I liked about Moon's over anyone else's, including those other 2 that I said as my top, was that it was actually very colorful. Like, I think it's really safe to go really dark, and especially when you're told to give scary. So I really appreciated her color palette. She's thinking outside of the box, which is part of the reason why I gave her an A. The teeth and the hands and stuff, what it really gave me, including her being in the Panzuda, very Studio Ghibli type of look, and that got me. Like, I loved it. And then had she not done the thing that she did with the wig, I maybe would have given her a B, because I'm like, I'm not seeing envy, but she nailed it on the head when she saw poor little Venenito with he was so happy with his, like, red wig, and she snatched the wig. So I felt really, really bad for him, but she had to have the wig, and right there, she's showing you she was envious of it. So I loved it. I thought it was really good. I think the only thing that she did horrendously was her gameplay. Yeah. I think that she was a top 3 look for me. I don't know if I liked her more than Nyla or Detox. I thought both Detox and Nyla did so good, but I gave her an A still, because I thought it was just a very refreshing kind of look. It was a really accurate take on the sin, and yeah, I loved it.
Great. Let's move on to our loser of the episode, Brighty Stun, who was Greed. Came out as this big mouth mom, mom looking, maybe with an apron on, creature. The reveal was very sloppy, and her false eyelashes kept coming out, which I don't think is necessarily a thing that she was trying to do. I think it was just like, an example of how not great the drag is. What else happened? Oh, Venenito has a bunch of coins and tries to get her to leave, and that's how she leaves. So from the prompt perspective, I guess that was greed. She was following the coins, but the look was so bad. I have this as a D.
Okay, so the Panzuda look, actually did not mind. I thought it was really, really good. The actual Panzuda, when she went into her regular look, I thought that look was not great. I also thought when her Panzuda look came out, it would have kind of fit more with gluttony a little bit, but especially as they were pulling things out of the mouth of the Panzuda look. So I felt like maybe I'm just off and I'm not very trained in sins. I'm trained in sinning, but just not in like the actual sins. Because like at some point they do interlap and all of that. But I just felt it was not necessarily consistent to what I understand. And if I'm incorrect, please let me know in the comments. Again, not an expert on sins, just an expert on committing them. So yeah, I thought, I think she's a light in the competition. She really is the personality of the entire season. I think that she will probably come back. She kind of started campaigning that herself when she was eliminated. She was like, all right, I'll see you guys again when I compete again on your guys' show. So I love that she already is manifesting that into reality. I'm pretty certain they're going to concede and give her a little bit of time to kind of polish her looks and kind of get better. I'm gonna give her a C- because I did like the Panzuda look. I just had an issue with her look outside of it. I do think there were some technical issues. I think she's an incredible drag queen. I don't think any of them, for the record, and I'm going to jump in here and defend every single one of them, were incorrectly casted. Sometimes you can look at past seasons and you're like, why is this person here? I 100% understand why Bridie was there and why she made it as far as she did. Like, she gave us content. She gave us, really funny confessionals. She will be missed. But I will say that, as it relates to now that we're getting closer to the final, she's just not there yet. But maybe when she comes back for an All-Stars season, because she will, she'll provide a lot more. But,
Definitely a skill issue here, but really going to be missed. And I was perfectly okay, even just looking at these grades. Like, what if this was almost any other cast member? Like, why would they, carry this person on or whatever? There's a reason why. She does a very good job in confessionals specifically, and has a very good personality. Definitely will be missed. Excited to see her on future seasons. So, a big loss here, for personality loss, but the drag was just not there. So I think the time was now. So yeah. Congrats.
Cool.
No, what do you say? Condolences to Bridie.
She went to the drag altar, and the altar boys were, they did a eulogy for her. It's always really heartbreaking. Actually, it did sound like their voice was cracking with Bridie. So
interesting. Yeah, they. God, I always love those scenes. It's very funny.
I know we're getting to the part of giving our tip to our favorite one of the week, which we both agreed on. I just wanted to mention one little bit of, just like one thing. As far as they have a show in the background of like those that got eliminated. They have their own runway just to show you what look they would have brought.
Yeah.
Happy to report that most of them probably would have been in the bottom again, except for Greta Grimm, who did a really, really good job. She was incorrectly eliminated from the competition.
Agreed.
And it wasn't her time. And then everybody goes on there to kind of roast Pati Piñata, but for a second week in a row, actually, she's been serving like the top look. Like, people were like, oh, like she was just warming up, like, because for a while when she had gotten eliminated, she was doing those shows, and each week people were like, she would have been eliminated again. But somehow between last week to this week, now we're seeing very insane looks. So it's like, I don't know if she just prepared some looks more than others, but it's kind of a shame. But it is cool that we get that in the background, and it's not part of the canon, as Craig would say.
That's right. It's not canon, but it is.
But it is cool to see what they would have served.
Yeah.
And there's something that I need to bring up before we even get to the La Medinerita that is very, very important, because the rumors are basically saying each time one of the feminosas gets eliminated, they meet with Cfid, the Cfid, the All-Stars winner of Solo Las Más, and he makes them write who that is in the competition do you think should be eliminated. And I thought it was kind of weird, but there's multiple outlets that are reporting every time they're done with that conversation, the production zooms in on the names that were written. A lot of past competitors have actually named Axele Deville as the person that they wanted eliminated. So there's rumors that between now and the finale, there might be a resurrection of someone, and it might be based on the person's name that appears there the most. It might not be anything, but you never know with this show. They might throw a twist like that. It would be it would be well received by me, I feel, because I think Axele got unfairly eliminated. Sure. But also, it's in season 3, this was really controversial, but the winner was someone that had gotten eliminated in the middle of the competition, and then she came back like the last 2 weeks and excelled, and she won the whole competition. So what are your thoughts on that before we wrap it up? Probably.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Redemption Island type of buybacks. I think, the game is the game. If it's, again, honestly, how about this? I'm okay with it if it's known. If it's like, all right, you can go down, but you're going
I don't think it's going to be.
Right, but if they told people, like, don't worry, there's a buyback that happens, like, I'm very pro tell the rules of the game so that I can see, and I want to see decisions and reasons why. If it just becomes a bunch of dice rolls and a bunch of like random things that are happening, like a Mario Party, game, like, that's not really that fun for me, at least. But
Mario Party is very fun. I don't know about you, but
it's fun when I win and when they choose the right bonus stars. When they choose the right bonus stars of like, okay, who won the most mini games and who spent the most money, which is how a game should be determined of win, not who stepped on the red thing the most or who got the most events. Like, that's just random, literally dice rolls. Like,
I feel like I need to take you on Mario Party pretty soon. So maybe, because
Great.
Yeah.
Me and you against each other, one-on-one Mario Party, and be prepared to lose. And if I lose, it's because they chose the wrong bonus stars.
That's not true. All right. So then, that was just the only thing that I wanted to bring up, those rumors and things. It's not confirmed, but it's kind of weird that they keep zooming in on the names that the person wrote, and then someone's taking inventory, and they're like, multiple feminosas had said Axele Deville. So the odds, if they are to return someone, do look in the favor of Axele. But imagine making it that far in just to be... But that happened in 3rd season, when Avies came back and won the entire season.
But that's think about it. If you're the person who stayed in the competition the whole time just to lose to someone who was gone for, several episodes, like, how frustrating would that be? It's like, I didn't get voted out. I was consistent throughout the whole episode to avoid elimination, and you just sat down there, maybe you would have gone home one of the weeks. Like, it's just silly. I'm never a fan of that.
Well, if it would have been me personally, the one that gets benefited by it, then it would be no issue. But if
if you're the one that loses, you get second place to the guy who,
Oh, then it would be a problem.
But okay, so it's results-oriented thinking. That's fine. All right, talk about the tip that we're giving.
So this week we decided, in a surprising twist, to give our tip to Detox Alanis. I know it might be just enough for like a soda or something like that, but we do appreciate your work and your dedication in the drag. And plus, combined with other people's tips, you guys should always tip your feminosas and drag queens, because they do put a lot of work and money in their looks. So we agreed that you are killing it in the competition, and this was a really well-deserved win. So see, we're not always going against, I think we have been in a place where we've been able to be critical of each and every single one of them, but I mean, when someone does things right, it's like Detox, like, it is worthy of a tip. So we hope that tip goes a long way, even if it's just for like a soda.
Yeah,
but no, for real, we're fans.
Credit where credit's due. Very entertaining person this entire season. So
yeah, she's good.
I hope to see more of her on the screen. Okay, well, as always, follow us on Twitch and YouTube and all that type of stuff. Trying to get Juan to commit to doing a post finale episode, but the logistics of it are going to be a little tricky, I think.
I think we're just planning it. So because the finale's coming on December 16th, we are planning to do something for you guys. It might be on Twitch, just because it might be a little bit easier, especially if you have Twitch. Don't forget to follow us on there. Like Craig said, I think that something is brewing, and we're just kind of thinking of how that's going to look. But yes, make sure you're subscribed to us so you know all the details and the logistics of that. We do really appreciate your views, any comments you have our way, and we would really appreciate it if you guys followed us on Twitch and joined us, because we know it's going to be a really good finale. So having said that, we will give you guys more details as we get closer, but it is looking like we might be doing like a live after show. We don't want to be in the middle of the show while it's going on. So it might be kind of something in a similar format, or it might be a little bit different, but maybe we'll be together in person. We're still figuring it all out, how it's going to go down, but rest assured that something is, we're coming up with something.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. See ya.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.